This is PWF Empire Live.
It's the best thing going. Get it.
The best insight and analysis on the hottest topics in the world of wrestling happens here. From storylines and news to rumors and reviews, we've got the action covered from bell to bell.
Believe that. Presented
by PWFempire.com with your hosts, Charlie Feast, Evan Medina, and J-Dub.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
The match starts now.
PWF Empire is live Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on PWFempire.com. But tonight we're presenting a very special episode for the purpose of previewing WWE Payback. We'll be going down the card match by match, giving our thoughts on the build-up and our predictions for how everything is going to turn out at the show, as we are only 6 days away at the point that we're recording this live. Thank you guys for tuning in. For those of you who are watching live or maybe even listening on demand, whatever way that you consume PWF Empire Live, it is greatly appreciated. I am Jay, and I'm joined on the hosting panel tonight by my co-host Evan. What's up?
I swear, Tom Brady's still one of the best of all time, damn it.
Oh God, like how are you feeling with all of this stuff going on? He got a 4-game suspension for the whole Deflategate.
Yeah, I mean, it really sucks, but hey, you know what? We're still 4-time Super Bowl champs, so I don't care. for that much, I don't care. We're still the champs, damn it. Yeah! It's tough to be a Boston sports fan because, you know, it just is.
Well, this is a great little segue here, talking about Boston and champions and championships. We do have John Cena, who is the current United States champion. He's from Massachusetts, and he's going in to defend his championship versus Rusev at Payback, and that's where we're going to start. And we would love it if you guys join in on the fun and let us know what your thoughts on the build-up for Payback and also your predictions on all of these matches that we will be discussing tonight. You can do that in many ways, letting us know where your head is on all of this good stuff. You can do so on PWFempire.com. You can do so on the video if you're watching on YouTube right now, and of course Twitter with the hashtag PWF Empire, because as always the conversation continues on and off air. Let's go ahead and get that conversation started now, as I said, with the current United States champion. But the big question is, will John Cena still be United States champion when Payback is over and done with? Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I'm going to go ahead and guess it's true. I saw a tweet saying that John Cena was undefeated at Payback, and also, I'm pretty sure this is true, undefeated in I Quit matches. So it's a pretty tall order for Rusev, but is he up to the task this Sunday?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's the whole John Cena thing with the I Quit matches and the last man standing matches, and like there has to be a bunch of stuff that goes on in order for John Cena to lose. Like, he's not going to lose this match clean, and if he did, I would legitimately get up and be stunned by that occurrence. So, I mean, you could see Rusev try to pull off that heel tactic of, you know, having a pre-recorded I Quit, because John Cena did say those words on Raw last week. And he said it
defiantly, too, I quit.
Exactly, and we saw that when The Miz did that to John Cena just a few years ago. And also, obviously, the famous Rock and Mick Foley, when that happened, that was the first time it had happened. So, will we see that happen once again? I'm not saying that that's impossible, but I'm not so sure if we will see that. I think John Cena probably will walk away with a third victory over Rusev here. But either way, I thought that the build-up to that match tonight was probably the best that you've gotten out of these 3 weeks between Extreme Rules and Payback.
Oh, I have to say, that was what we got on Monday Night Raw. It was one of, if not the best moment of the whole friggin' show, because as we all know, John Cena has these U.S. Open challenges where he's putting the United States Championship on the line on a week-to-week basis. This week, we get Without Challenges John Cena, and just as I was at the point where I was about to tweet and say, I think it's confirmed that this is probably the best open challenge match that we've seen from John Cena, that's when Rusev comes out, and I kid you not, I jumped up and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? He had it. Like, Neville, he hits John Cena with the red arrow, and he's in the midst of a pin, and I actually tweeted on Twitter, where else would I do it? But yeah, I actually tweeted that I have never wanted someone to defeat John Cena for that United States Championship more than I did Neville in that moment in time. And just when it was about to happen, Rusev runs out and reminds everybody, yeah, fuck this United States challenge. Like, he has a match with me this Sunday. And as much as I was pissed off about it, me being a big Neville fan, it was amazing booking. Amazing.
It was well done, and it's very good for heel heat. I mean, you want good heel heat from everybody, including, smart fans. Like, everybody gets annoyed with stuff like that. And it was good heel heat on Rusev. That was perfectly executed, and the match was amazing between Neville and Cena. And I said, when I tweeted out about it, man, Rusev gets max heat here, and on top of that, you get an amazing match that previews what could be some great contests in the future between Neville and John Cena. I really want to see these guys lock up again. This was a great match.
Because the question after this is, what if? What if Rusev had not interfered in the match? Would Adrian Neville actually have defeated John Cena? And that is the basis for them to continue on with it in the future. So,
yeah, exactly.
We got to see it again.
Does not kill Neville at all. Doesn't hurt him one bit, and that's why that booking is so good, because it doesn't hurt Neville at all. So he doesn't win the belt, but yet looks so good in this match and had some amazing spots and some great near falls from both guys. It was pay-per-view worthy, that match, no question in my mind.
And everybody came out looking like roses. I mean, John Cena, he's John Cena. It served as build-up for his match. Rusev, he was awesome because his mindset was basically, hey, dude, remember me? Like, I don't give a damn about what you have going on right now. We have an appointment for me to kick your ass. Like, that's on the schedule, and you're going to make sure you arrive at your appointment. You're going to arrive early, and everything is going to play out exactly the way that it goes. And what I thought was great about that was it showed that Rusev isn't just about capturing the United States Championship. He's about capturing the United States Championship as a result of beating John Cena. And that adds a personal element to their feud. And just, I can't sing the praises of what happened enough, because it's like WWE distracted us with an amazing match. It's like, hey guys, remember this match here. Don't remember what we have this Sunday at Payback. Look at this match. And then right as we thought it was about to end, we're wrapped up in that moment. Rusev comes out and, man.
Exactly, and it doesn't make Rusev look like, chicken shit heel that we're so tired of seeing be a very common occurrence in WWE. So it makes Rusev look like a guy who isn't afraid to face John Cena. Even though he's lost to him twice, he wants to show that he can actually get it done and wants to be able to brag and be able to say that he beat the United States Golden Boy, John Cena. So it builds that up really, really well. So I was, as you are, very, very happy with this.
Who's walking away with the victory this Sunday at Payback?
Yeah,
or
as much as
should I even be asking this question?
Yeah, as much as I may have enjoyed this segment here on Raw, I still think there's the overwhelming predictability that John Cena will walk away still United States champion.
I'm going to go ahead and go with John Cena also, because I can't see this extending any further if Rusev wins. Like, who could Rusev possibly lose the United States Championship to? I'm sure WWE could come up with something, but I say that there's more story to tell with John Cena as a champion than there is Rusev as a champion. So that just may be the direction that WWE goes in.
Yeah, and because whoever John Cena drops the title to is a huge deal for that guy. Like, it helps the championship. I mean, like, we've talked about how much it helps the championship, but that's basically a different conversation. It's more about this guy is going to get a decently good push just from that victory in of itself. And I think that teasing it with Neville here on this Raw was a really good way to continue to inject that possibility for whoever does end up with the title. So good stuff. And I'm actually really liking Cena's run. I don't think the promos before the match every time needs to happen necessarily, but either way, it's still been good stuff.
Yeah, and this is a little spin. I see the Vedran. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's commenting in the chat on YouTube. He says everyone gets over. That's a little spin on Charlie's old saying nobody gets over. So this is actually, the opposite of that. And I say, Job well done. Speaking of Neville, he's actually going to be competing in a match this Sunday versus King Barrett. What have you thought about the build-up of this? And I guess the build-up of this can kind of tie into Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus also, because those four guys have been mixing it up pretty frequently. They had a few matches with each other and in the King of the Ring tournament, which Barrett won, and then you also had some people costing other guys a match. But I guess we could split it up and start with Barrett and Neville first.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the way that they booked Barrett tonight was interesting because of the way that they almost teased a quick victory for Ziggler. I'm like, oh, are they really going to bury Barrett with the cape on and everything? Like, he doesn't even get to take the cape off and he gets pinned? Like, man. But, hey, this was especially decent build for Sheamus and Ziggler. But I would say that Neville and Barrett, they've had a couple of good matches. Their King of the Ring final match was actually pretty damn good. And even their pre-show match from Extreme Rules was pretty solid. So I think as far as a wrestling match goes, it'll be good. But, you know, if Neville goes over, yeah, that's awesome because we like Neville. And, you know, Neville getting over is a good win for him. But Barrett's the King of the Ring, so you don't really want your King of the Ring to look weak and not win his first pay-per-view match since becoming King of the Ring. So, I mean, I think this is the kind of match where it's like both guys could use the win, but it's kind of hard to see like who's actually going to take this one. But I don't know. I feel like Neville's going to go over just because the King of the Ring not going to get the win. Like, I don't know. I just see that.
It's so funny. Like, it's like Barrett needs to win, so that means Neville's going to win.
Exactly. Yeah. That's basically exactly what I'm saying.
I can't go with anybody other than Barrett, though, because WWE, we've talked about this many times before, you do these little gimmicks, and even with your titles that you have year-round, like, you have to make those titles mean something. I mean, King of the Ring, that's a title also. You won the King of the Ring tournament to be crowned, literally, with that moniker. So you got to put some force behind that. I really love what they're doing with all of these four guys, King Barrett, Neville, Sheamus, and Dolph Ziggler. I don't remember the last time that I've enjoyed a feud in that position on the card as much as I enjoyed this one, because we actually have those guys going out there and they have personal issues with each other. Like, they're legit feuding. They have heat there that's very noticeable, and it seems as if they're competing with a purpose, and maybe even that purpose becomes a little clearer based off of things that happened tonight on Monday Night Raw, which we'll talk about a little later on in the show. But yeah, I just love what's going on with these guys. I have to go with Barrett for the win there. He's a king, so long live the king, or long may the king, you know, win a match. And, you know, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Go ahead, Barrett.
God save the queen, or whatever he would say. But, you know,
WWE Creative save the king.
Yeah.
Please, let him get the win. Neville, that's my homeboy, but gotta go with Barrett.
Again, you put the King of the Ring on Barrett, the guy needs to follow up with some wins. So I would rather see Barrett win, but I'm going to say that they do the classic Barrett needs the win, but they're going to put Neville over here. So I'm going to say Neville will take the win, but I would be happier with Barrett winning because he is King of the Ring.
Let's go ahead and switch sides back to Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus now. Who's walking away with the victory at Payback?
It's a tough one. I mean, honestly, like, even though Ziggler went over at Extreme Rules, you know, Sheamus really ultimately got over because he, you know, is the one who ended up with the forcive win, I guess you could say, like, humiliating Ziggler, so to speak. I think the build here on this Go Home Raw was simple, but did what it needed to do. And I don't know, I feel like Sheamus is going to win here for whatever reason, but I think the build-up with them it's been pretty good. Since Extreme Rules to Payback, it's been fine, kind of just whatever. The build to Extreme Rules was quite good, if you ask me. But, yeah, I mean, I think they'll put on another decent match, but I see Sheamus actually winning this one and definitively getting over. But I think they did the whole Ziggler winning thing to just build that much more heat on Sheamus. And honestly, at the time of Extreme Rules, I didn't love it. I was like, why didn't Sheamus just win this match? But what they did after, and I had some time to think about it, I was like, all right, you know what? okay, this wasn't bad. And
yeah,
I think
I went back and I listened to that show. I did not give them as much credit as I think they deserved with the booking of that. Like, it was a very smart move, very well done.
It really was, and at the time, I think I was just kind of like clouded because I was thinking to myself, well, why wouldn't Sheamus just win the match? But it gets actually more heat on Sheamus in order to, lose the match, but then get pissed off and act like a heel and do what he's supposed to do. And honestly, he's been probably the hottest heel in WWE that isn't in the main event picture, so that's very impressive for Sheamus. And I think he'll probably win this match.
Probably include the main event picture.
You probably could at this point. Be up there. Yeah, but, for sure.
But I know it says technically Dolph Ziggler won in the record books, but he won a match while he also got his face rubbed on somebody else's ass, so I think that counts as a loss. Yeah, that was a loss.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. Like it's like he really kind of lost the match because he got humiliated. So
yeah, I think he's gonna legitimately lose the match this time around. Got to go with Sheamus. I see bright things for that guy. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because with what's going on in WWE right now, that main event picture, it seems as if it's on lockdown. Like, they have the people that they want to be there, and what we're going to be seeing from this point on is just like a rotation. And it could be, a fatal four-way this time around. Then you just plug out two of those guys and roll with the other two as a main event. It seems as if that's on lock right now, so I can't say what I want to say, but I do see bright things for Sheamus in the future if that position kind of, loosens up.
I truly believe Sheamus will be WWE World Heavyweight Champion again. I mean, well, he hasn't been yet WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but he will be a world champ again, I truly believe, because I think that the guy is just in the best phase of his career yet. And, I mean, if they put the titles on him, in the past, you got to figure with this, like, hot heel streak that he's on right now, it's got to be good things. So, I mean, I do see Sheamus winning this match, though, and I look forward to what they do with him. I'm really excited. Again, you kind of get a little cautious, but I think Sheamus still will do good things with. So, I mean, maybe Intercontinental title picture first. I don't know where they'll go, but no matter what they do, I think it can be really positive for other guys around him, like him and Ambrose, whatever. Him and Neville they could switch the feuds literally with the two guys that they've got going right now. I don't even care. That'd be good stuff too. So, plenty of possibilities.
Alrighty, now we're going to talk about the Tag Team Championship match that will take place at Payback. This features the former champions getting another shot to reclaim their titles. This is the New Day, who are the current Tag Team Champions, versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, and this will be a 2 out of 3 falls tag team match, as I said, for those WWE Tag titles.
Oh, yeah. I had to think about this one for a minute. Because New Day just rocks right now. But personally...
They do. I'm not even at the position where I have to say, like, I have to admit it. Like, they do. They're awesome. No shame whatsoever in saying it.
I mean, come on. Even, like, the boom shakalaka stuff. Like, I mean, that had me laughing out loud tonight. I mean,
POP, hold it down.
Oh.
Yes. Power of positivity.
Amazing. Just great. So they're doing a great job with them as heels. This is what I think everybody originally wanted from these three guys. That's why everyone got excited when the three of them were together and cut that promo last year on Raw back in, like, April. And then they did nothing with it for a long time, and everybody was really disappointed with it. Then they give you the New Day, and they make them very babyface-ish, and they're trying to get them over with this, like, let's sing and dance and clap our hands kind of gimmick, and it's like, yeah. So...
And I just heard an interview from Xavier Woods, or I read an interview from Xavier Woods. They actually planned on that being New Day, like, legit. Like, they thought that was going to work. Because, like, we see what New Day is right now, and it's easy for WWE to at least create the illusion that this was all natural. Like, it was just a natural evolution, and this is what they were always intended to be. But it's not. Like, if WWE had it their way, the positive, just overly sugary, sweet, and disgusting New Day, like they would still be that right now, and I'm so glad it failed.
I am so
glad.
I am too. Like, this is where the fans really played a great role in helping this gimmick get off the ground and become something awesome. So, again, it's just great. Like, I think that them as heels, it works so damn well. And all three of these guys, like we've mentioned time and time again, are really good. And they all bring something special to the table, I believe. And I think Kidd and Cesaro are actually good baby faces too, even though they were, more heelish at first. Everybody likes those two guys. Why shouldn't they be baby faces? Like, Cesaro is so well liked by everyone, and so is Tyson Kidd, because they're both great. So why shouldn't they be faces in this case? I mean, I think that they're playing this off really, really well, and this has been an enjoyable tag title feud, and the way that they've built up New Day and made them feel important is really awesome. As far as who's going to win, I think New Day will retain the titles here. I really do.
I think they're going to retain the championships also. And this was just a little theory that popped in my head. I would love it if the match was booked in this way. Of course, it's a 2 out of 3 falls. And we know that with New Day, like whatever little decision process they go with, they have 2 people actually competing in the match and 1 person standing on the sidelines. I would love it if we actually got to a point in this match where they lost the first fall and then they started to panic and then they just like switched out one of the guys. Like, so for example, if Big E is on the outside and Xavier Woods was the one to get pinned, then, you know, Big E jumps in place of Xavier Woods, and then the crowd is like, oh shit, well that's a fresh guy. Like, and then they get heat based off of that, and that actually leads to a victory.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I think that would be awesome.
I do too. I think it'd be even better if it was Xavier and Kofi, because apparently Michael Cole can't tell the difference between the two, because every time he's always like, oh yeah, there goes Xavier, and I was like, that was Kofi Kingston. You do realize that, right?
I am not even gonna go there.
I was like, man, I can't believe it. He's gotten them mixed up, I think, now 3 or 4 different times in the last like 2 months. I'm like, man, this is a pro commentator, and he can't see the difference here between these two guys. And it's pretty clear. Like, I mean, there is a clear difference between these two guys. Like, they're different sizes, and like Xavier clearly had the title around his waist, and Kofi had no title around his waist. So it was like,
you know what's so funny about that? And this is the story. Like, it has nothing to do with wrestling. I actually was at my job one day, and we were at some kind of function outside, and I had a supervisor of mine or somebody in my chain of command. She was actually talking to one of my coworkers, and she was like, so did you get your license yet and everything? And he was like, I already have my license. And then she was like, but I took you to go get your permit and things like that, and how did you get your license so quick? And he's like, oh, I had my license for years. What was so funny was she thought he was me, and I was standing there listening to her. I'm just looking like, are you kidding me? Like, you're supposed to be talking to me. Like, you're going over my damn life story with him. And I just stood there, and it was one of the weirdest things ever. But, yeah, back to the wrestling.
Yeah. It's just crazy how that can happen with things. But, whatever. It's just Michael Cole.
New Day for the win in every single way imaginable.
Yes, I believe they do definitely get the win. I think it goes to the 3rd fall. I mean, usually a 2 out of 3 falls match tends to go to the 3rd fall. I mean, it's pretty rare when you see a 2-0 sweep in a match like that. I mean, maybe they would 2-0 sweep only because they'll use their tactics to do it. But I think they might lose.
The last one we saw was Dolph Ziggler and Cesaro. Was it?
Yes, when Ziggler won two straight, right?
That was a really, really, really good match. And I think we saw one with it was who was it? The Usos and the Wyatt family. So WWE is on a string of pretty good 2 out of 3 falls matches, and looking at the talent with these 2 tag teams, I am sure that streak is going to continue.
I believe so too. I think this will be a really cool match, and you might even see Cesaro and Kidd get the victory on the first fall in like the first couple minutes, and that's what gets New Day to regroup, feel desperate, and then use their strategies to get there. And I think that the strategies that the 3 of them have used have been actually pretty awesome, and I love that they use all 3 guys. They make it feel like it's a trio who are on the same page, and they click well together, and they work so good as heels. It's good stuff, and I think New Day will hang on to them, and I'd really like to see New Day versus the Lucha Dragons or something going forward. I think that'd be a cool tag feud after this one.
What about the minor powers? What about them? And I stole that from David Otunga. He said it on the pre-show, but yeah, I guess we'll move from one tag team match to another. This was on the pre-show. We don't usually talk about pre-show matches, but I was chatting with Evan a little bit before the show, and he said, yeah, you were right. So we had to mention this on the show, so.
Oh, Evan, yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, okay, I will still stick to a couple weeks ago. I liked the Damien Sandow promo, but what they appear to be doing with this is complete bad. And
I guess we have to go ahead and give like a backstory of what's going on. We have Curtis Axel. We all know he's hashtag Axelmania, living off of the movement of Hulk Hogan. Now we have Damien Sandow, and this guy goes from impersonating The Miz to now he's impersonating Macho Man. So he's Macho Mandow, I think that's what he's calling himself, and he's embroiled in a feud with, I guess he was embroiled in a feud with Axelmania, but now they've come together to form the Minor Powers, and they're going to face off against the Ascension at Payback. Now, the funny thing about this, on Raw, you have the Ascension come out and basically tell them that you can't reach a point of success by mimicking great tag teams of the past. Okay. Alrighty.
It was so well placed in the promo too. I was just like, it was so well done. I was like, man, they wrote that perfectly because they knew that they were like, okay, we have to just admit that this is all one big guy. And like I said at one point in the night, like, I guess welcome to Raw, where impersonation is definitely the sincerest form of flattery. Because we got plenty of impersonations here tonight. There was another one with the primetime players later, except that one was actually really funny. But,
I mean, people are a fan of nostalgia. Maybe that's how you get WWE back to that their place as one of the biggest pop culture phenomenons in the world. You just have the whole damn roster impersonate people from the past.
Yeah, everybody loves the past.
I wonder who's going to be Stone Cold. I want to see somebody be Stone Cold.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Very interesting. I don't know. I can't really see too many. Well, we know Roman Reigns will be The Rock, so he just cut his hair. And but anyway, the Minor Powers are going to win.
By
this
the way,
match.
Charlie just screamed when you said that. The whole hair cutting thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't go for that.
Yeah. Well, sorry, man. It's impersonation time on Raw, so
you got to go all out with it. Commit.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think the Minor Powers will win. This is one way for Curtis Axel and Sandow to win a match. So it's really too bad though in a way, because the Ascension was actually great in NXT, and I was looking forward to what they would do with them. But yeah, it's been quite terrifying so far. So great.
I don't even have anything to say about this. I'm just moving on. Now, this isn't a match. This isn't a match that it hasn't been confirmed as we speak, but of course, I'm sure it will happen. Ryback versus Bray Wyatt. Ryback was revealed to be the object of Bray Wyatt's obsession, and Bray Wyatt, he explained exactly why he was targeting Ryback on Raw tonight, and some people were like, okay, well, I get it now. Some people are like, you know what, this is more BS from Bray Wyatt. He loves to go out there and he loves to spin the narrative of something, but it does, of course, have to make sense. My only question is, Bray Wyatt comes out and he says, Ryback wants to know, why me? Why me? Why did you target Ryback? It was simple. He was in my way. And I actually tweeted this out. I'm like, okay, well, if Ryback was in Bray Wyatt's way, where the fuck was Bray Wyatt going? Like, on what road could you possibly be on to where you would encounter Ryback? Like, where were you going? I need you to answer that question.
Well, he does, crawl backwards, so...
Well, there you go. That's how you encounter Ryback.
I mean, you go from Undertaker to, Ryback.
Oh, God. So, yeah, did you buy what Bray Wyatt was selling on Raw? I'm guessing...
I don't know. I mean, like, This was one of those feuds that it was like, we talked about it in the beginning as like a potentially something that could be nice for both guys, but I don't really care for it much.
Did I talk about that? I don't remember that.
Or maybe we didn't. Maybe I just thought that. I don't know. Maybe that was...
Oh, yeah, I don't remember saying
Maybe I was the only one who said that. But fine, I'll plug myself. I believe that it could potentially be, again, keyword potentially, be something that could do good. But I don't think it really has at all. I don't really care for this feud, and I don't really care about the match that much, to be honest. It's really kind of too bad because I really think Ryback's a talented guy. They really think Bray Wyatt's a talented guy. If this was like a different period in time where both guys were more ready for this feud, it might be a lot better. But I think neither guy has no real direction right now. So it's like, why even have them go at it? I mean, Ryback has been so inconsistently booked that he went from being like, fighting for a number one contenders match to the title to a couple weeks later, beating Fandango or Adam Rose or whatever in course of 30 seconds. So, I mean, the booking with Ryback has been all over the place, even though he's over and a good babyface and could be a really solid, either upper mid-card or whatever for WWE. It really could be. But
And you want to talk about inconsistent booking, let's not even get started with Bray Wyatt.
Oh my God.
Like you said, this guy goes from Undertaker to Ryback, and Ryback, I mean, you don't get a chest pound, but you're alright, but
yeah,
but it's Bray Wyatt. Like I said a few weeks ago, this guy has he's at a point right now where he was basically living off of goodwill that he built up for that amazing story that he told with the Undertaker. But I think at this point we're removed considerable portion from WrestleMania. Like, it's worn out now. I'm sorry, but I listened to what he says, and it didn't even make sense this time around because he's talking about the power of fear and things like that. And I would think that wouldn't Bray Wyatt's whole mantra be take the power of fear, like take fear and turn it into a positive thing, like turn it into something that's going to propel you forward. Like, I think Bray Wyatt would look at people who cower in the face of fear as his enemy. Look at them as weak. Look at them as powerless. But he went out there and he said all of these things about taking the power of fear. And isn't that exactly what Ryback did? But that's not what Bray Wyatt is attacking him for. You're not. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It really doesn't. And the promos are just getting... it's the same stuff. I mean, really, he hasn't said anything that's been like, whoa, since this promo. I mean, since this feud has begun, it's like with the Undertaker feud, you had to give Wyatt a ton of props because he really built this feud up he built it all the way to making it feel like a match that we were looking forward to. And although the match was just decent, it was still something that to me was built up quite well, solely on the part of Bray Wyatt. So we know Wyatt can not only tell a story, but can build a feud really well, and is a really good talker when he's given good material, or when, there's good feud to have. It's not like a feud with Ryback is necessarily bad, but like we were saying, two guys who are inconsistently booked, they're both in the same boat, even though it's not going to do anything for either one. Like, sure, it could be potentially beneficial for them if they were in a better position for it. So this feud just, honestly, I really don't care much about. And in terms of who wins the match, I really don't know. It's kind of hard to predict because I just really don't. I'd say Bray Wyatt will probably win if I had to guess.
I don't know, and I'm finding it hard to even care, to be quite honest, and it's sad. It's sad. Bray Wyatt, it's so weird because I don't know what the situation is with Bray Wyatt. Is it that WWE doesn't understand how awesome that character is, or maybe they understand too well how awesome that character is, and it gets them in positions where they frequently have him make something out of nothing. And I think that in this case, like, you're literally trying to make a whole damn meal out of air. Like, it ain't gonna work. Nope.
Yeah, so, you can't. Yeah, there's no way you're gonna eat that air, man. You're not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna fill you up ever. So, it's one of those feuds that if you put it in a time and a place where both guys were a lot, in a better position overall, this could work out pretty damn well. It could be something. But, again, both guys, inconsistent booking. And just, where do we go from here? Whoever wins, what does that do for the winner? Bray Wyatt proves what? I don't know.
Beat Ryback.
I beat fucking Ryback on my way crawling backwards. I don't, what is there, It's one of those things where it's a tough position for Wyatt to be in, no question about it, considering the fact that he goes from Taker at WrestleMania to Ryback. But, he could have transitioned down a little better than that. They could have gone with... Again, we were originally maybe thinking could have been Roman Reigns that he was targeting. That would have been a little bit better for both of them, I believe, because Reigns was, again, in a main event scenario, and Wyatt with the Taker feud, it's still a lot better than the Ryback feud.
And Bray Wyatt is not Big Show or Kane, so yeah.
Yeah, it's something else for both guys. We haven't seen it as a singles feud. The two guys have been in the ring, obviously, with the Wyatt family and the Shield, but it's not like, they've had a singles feud yet, so it could be something, but go figure. I don't know. I just don't really care much about this either, so it's one of those matches that, while it's on the pay-per-view, assuming it's going to be on pay-per-view, they probably just do it on SmackDown on Thursday and just say forget about it. But
yeah, I'd be okay with that if that was a little, plot hole. Just push it right in and fall to its.
That's fine.
Demise.
Yeah, nobody is going to complain about that. I really don't think so.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about something that I think that we both are excited about. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys watching right now, you're excited about this as well. The main event of Payback. This will be the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, a fatal four-way match, and I have to explain the rules of a fatal four-way to you guys right now. Fatal four-way means that 4 competitors are in the ring, and you don't even have to be pinned to lose the match. So Seth Rollins, he could be in the match, and he doesn't have to be pinned, and he can still lose his championship. You guys got that? Okay. Good.
Oh, I got it.
We're going to mention it 50 more times, too, just to make sure you got it. Because, Evan, you said you got it. I'm not too sure you got it. Do you realize that Seth Rollins could lose his championship without being pinned?
Nah, you sure?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Wouldn't that just be a disqualification, though?
No, he can legitimately lose the match. And lose his championship without being pinned.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Okay, I think you got it now.
He has a 25% chance?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Precisely 25%.
Is exact? That's to the T? The exact number. Okay.
To the T.
No decimal points or anything like that? So,
there is a decimal point, but they're just
a bunch of
infinite zeros after it. So.
All right. And there's no 1s or 2s or anything like that?
Nope, not at all. Right. Not even at the end.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Man, that's for sure then. Okay.
Right. Okay, so we can talk about the match now. Seth Rollins, he has his championship on the line in a match where everyone hates his damn guts. And if that isn't motivation enough, of course, you have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in play. Now, this match went from being a triple threat match to a fatal four-way. We have a solid list of who's going to be in. What have you thought about the build-up of this match going into the show this Sunday?
I think it's been pretty good, honestly. I mean, the inclusion of Ambrose, as we talked about last week, it's a build-up that kind of comes out of thin air. Here's Dean Ambrose in the main event after he just wasn't even really close. We were celebrating a couple weeks ago about the fact that he won on pay-per-view.
Yeah, just like the losing streak on pay-per-view came to an end, and I guess wins matter in WWE, or that it was
win.
A win matters.
Win. But he definitely got thrust right into this main event out of nowhere, but he is over enough to be there. No question, he gets a good enough reception. I know they were in the hometown here in Cincinnati tonight on Raw, but
perfect timing, I have to say.
It really is, and his receptions have been great everywhere he goes, and obviously in the hometown it's going to be even better. So, I mean, this is really good stuff here for Ambrose, and I mean, we're all big fans of Dean Ambrose, so again, but we like Dean Ambrose. We always say that. But here's where, like, I'm going to use that get-out-of-jail-free card.
Get-out-of-jail-free card.
I'm going to use it, and I'm going to cash that in and say, I don't care. I'm really happy he's in this main event. I know he's not going to win it, so let's just have fun with him being there. And the fact that he got to look strong 2 straight weeks was pretty cool, too. I mean, I think they're at least showing us that he has the ability to be in that scenario, which is obviously a good thing. I mean, yeah, sure.
I'm a fan, but I don't like that. Like, I want them to play up off of the fact that this guy just crawled out of a damn hole. Probably literally and figuratively, but like play up off of that. There was so much story to tell here that I think the WWE kind of skipped off on, and that was one point. Like, I wanted to see Ambrose, and of course, like, if you have Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose in a match together, there are some things that you absolutely cannot ignore, but build up off of that. Like, build up off of the fact that this guy took a few weeks out of Dean Ambrose's career and, almost put him out of his friggin' misery, how he backstabbed him. Like, talk about that a bit more and actually use that as fuel for Dean Ambrose to say, of course, well, yeah, the WWE Championship, it is on the line, and since I'm in the match, technically Dean Ambrose, he has a 25% chance of winning too, if you go off of what WWE is saying. But, like, isn't getting your hands on Seth Rollins worth a little bit too? Like, talk about that some. And I don't think that they explored that to the level that they could have and honestly should have.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're just saving that for the future. Like, I feel like they want they want to do so much more with these guys, especially that whole Shield triple threat, that they know that's not only going to make all of us hardcore fans be like, oh my god, it's the Shield triple threat, and go nuts about that. But I think everybody's going to be happy about that. That's something that almost anybody would be like, wow, that's pretty cool. Because everyone knew who the Shield was, even if you're not like you're just a regular casual viewer. I feel like everybody knew the Shield because it was like a big deal, and they were honestly one of the better booked trios ever. I mean, they really were booked well, consistently. They make groups like the Nexus look like jokes in comparison because of how well booked they were for the most part. And yeah, sure, it wasn't perfect all the time, but you can't expect perfection.
It was damn near it.
It was great, and I mean they were a great force, and they came straight up from developmental all at the same time as a group, and they beat big names and had big moments, matches, victories. And it was great stuff. So a Shield triple threat deserves to have that like big pay-per-view feel. So I think this is kind of like a teaser for that match to a certain extent, which is really cool. So I mean, I'm really happy with the Fatal 4-Way in that way. And that's why I've been kind of just like lenient on the whole lack of, capitalizing on some of the things that they could have done with this. So I'll take it for the fact that I think this would be an enjoyable main event. And I mean, honestly, Dean Ambrose being in the main event is just awesome to even say. So, yeah, he didn't get built up there the way we want him to, but he's not going to stay there anyway. I think he's probably going back toward Intercontinental Championship picture, things like that, probably, and I think his build will be over the rest of the year. At least that's what I really want to see. Again, what I'm hoping to see versus what will happen could be two completely different things. But I'd really like to see Dean Ambrose be in the title picture. I just want to see him get a better build to it in terms of a long-staying main event run.
See, here's the thing. You say it teases the Shield triple threat. I say it spoils it a little bit because you still have these guys on screen mixing it up with each other, and you're taking moments that could have happened there and giving them away and not even promoting them to the level of importance that they should be promoted. For example, Monday Night Raw ended tonight. Well, it ended tonight with them giving an amazing platform to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn from the last NXT special, which was awesome. But before that happened, we had Dean Ambrose hit his finisher on Roman Reigns, and they just acted like it was just, oh, this is an opponent versus another opponent, and they're just hitting a move. Like, Dude, do you realize those guys were not even were brothers, they still are, like, they still paint themselves as the best of friends on WWE TV. That's something that you could have picked up off of, and if you weren't ready to fully commit to that, then I say you shouldn't have done it at all. And of course, I'm nitpicking like hell here, because truth be told, come this Sunday, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of that match. And whenever we get that Shield triple threat, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of that too. And like, nothing could possibly spoil it for me. But I'm just saying, with the way the WWE told the story, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like Agents of Shield. Agents of Shield, there are certain things that they can't do because there's a bigger picture going on elsewhere. So it's kind of like you handcuff yourself a little bit. I felt as if in this feud here, they handcuffed themselves a little bit because of narratives that can be picked up off of in the future. And yeah, that's just my whole thought on the thing.
No, that's fair. I don't agree, but it's fair. I think you make your point. I'm looking at it like, I'm just being that, like, letting it all fly and just being like, hey, this Fatal 4-Way looks awesome. And then, so I'm basically on the same page as you in terms of I'm going to enjoy these matches. I'm just not looking as far into it as you are. And I'm not saying that you're looking too far into it, because whatever, we all have a different perspective here. I'm just looking at it like, well, at least we're getting something here. And I mean, I think the triple threat, even with Rollins, Orton, and Reigns, would have been good. I just think adding in Ambrose just adds so much more excitement for the match. And I think that the way they did it was so well done with the whole Seth Rollins and Ambrose facing each other. I think they did kind of touch on them, you know, having some past. They didn't do it enough, maybe, but I still think it was nice to see at least that match, the way it was booked, the way it was presented to you last week was just really, really good. And then I think the way that they continued things on tonight here was nice. I mean, obviously having Ambrose versus J&J was kind of like, but the way that they finished off the night was good. But I will agree with you on one point, and that's the whole Roman Reigns and Ambrose acting like brothers. You know, I mean, Roman Reigns flat out said on the mic a week or two ago that, like, Ambrose is his bro. So for Ambrose to just attack him is like, you know, Michael Cole should have been selling that like, whoa, you know, Ambrose did it real. I mean, they did say every man for themselves, so they sold it, but I wish they had kind of focused in a little heavier on that. I still think they touched on the Rollins and Ambrose thing enough, at least for me. Again, I'm just being a little more like generalized view here. So for me, I'm really looking forward to this main event, and I think it'll be pretty enjoyable. I hope there's not too much interference. I know Kane will get involved in some way, shape, or form here. But we doing predictions here?
Yeah, who's walking away with the championship?
Okay, I will say I think Seth Rollins continues on with the title. I think he will for, I don't know how long, but that's kind of stepping into a deeper part of the story here. But I think that Seth Rollins walks away with the title. But then again, it's like the way that they set up the stipulation in the beginning with Triple H saying to Kane, you know, oh, well, you know, if he doesn't walk away with the title, you might be relieved of your duties. They could kind of go off on that story. But I think Rollins hangs on here. The only guy I see really taking the title from him would be Orton.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like Reigns is in that position, and Ambrose isn't either, for sure. But I think Rollins hangs on.
I am going to go with... I'm kind of tied between Randy Orton and Seth Rollins right now. And it's a little tough because I think Randy Orton, at some time or another, he has to get that championship. But it's like, if I go with that person, then these storylines can spiral out of that match. But if I go with this person, these storylines can spiral out of it. But I'm going to have to go with Orton. I would love to see what happens when the Authority implodes, because I think that would be a point of contention there for them, and it'd be interesting to see how they dealt with that. So I'm going to go with Randy Orton just for storyline purposes. But if you had to like force me to pick what I think WWE is actually going to do, it would be Rollins. But I think I'm going to say officially Randy Orton.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I mean, that would be my second choice too. I like I said, I don't think either of the other guys would win, but Yeah, I think they'll keep the belt on Rollins here, and I mean, I think that Rollins versus Lesnar thing is still going for some. I feel like that's still going to happen at SummerSlam. I like, what else were they going to do with Lesnar when he comes back? Like, I just can't see him. Oh well, the champs, so and so. I mean, then again, Orton could win it here, and then Rollins could win it back. So it's not like Rollins has to be champion until SummerSlam, all on this one reign. So there's that.
Well, I mean,
too.
I don't know. You want to talk about SummerSlam? I'm thinking that the other guy has to be champion going into SummerSlam, because that is a match I need to see. I need to see that damn match. I need to see that match.
You will not live it down if you can't see that match.
I mean, it could happen somewhat. Well, shit, I'm not even going to SummerSlam anyway. So, but.
Wait till the next time you're there.
But I need to see the match at some time.
Okay, that's fair.
Maybe not SummerSlam, but eventually we will get to Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar. But the way that I see it, he still has an issue with Seth Rollins personally. So maybe Seth Rollins needs to keep the championship. Like, it's not just enough for Brock Lesnar to come back and feud for the championship. It has to be Seth Rollins.
Well, I also thought of another possibility. I know this is really looking far ahead, but I was thinking what if Rollins is still champion and he faces Lesnar at SummerSlam, and then Roman Reigns is your Money in the Bank winner this year, and then Roman Reigns literally tries to copy WrestleMania and do the exact same thing that Rollins did?
That would be crazy.
Wouldn't that be nuts? I thought of that.
That would be insane.
And I was like, man, what if they do that? What if they go there? I mean, it's something else. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, we got a long time to worry about that, but this Sunday is Payback, and hopefully you guys tune into our Payback post-show review, which will be live on PWFempire.com following Payback. We'll be reviewing the show, giving our thoughts on how all of the matches turned out, and like I said, you guys be there, PWFempire.com, for our Payback post-show review. We want to talk about, let's talk about Daniel Bryan. No, I can't do that, because that is that ends on a completely... No, I gotta mention it now, because I brought it up already. So they're gonna be disappointed if we don't.
Yeah.
Damn. Daniel Bryan. He comes back, and he makes an announcement. He says that he is relinquishing the Intercontinental Championship, and this time around, he said that he did an MRI, talked to a few doctors. They don't know if he's gonna be going for weeks, months, or otherwise. So we didn't actually get down to the nitty-gritty of what is afflicting Daniel Bryan, but of course we've speculated before it had to do with his whole neck and arm and all of that, elbow injuries and all that stuff. So where Daniel Bryan is right now, he is out for a time that has yet to be determined, and I think that it sucks. It was terrible, and I felt really down, the room, all of the air just escaped the room when I heard Daniel Bryan on Raw. And the unfortunate part about this is that when I heard him out there talking, there was no semblance of hope, no semblance of optimism, nothing. And I'm not necessarily saying that he should have done that, because I mean, it's your body, that's your business, but I'm just making an observation that previous times that we've seen Daniel Bryan, he said, my intention is to come back. I'm going to be back, going to be better than ever, said things like that. But this time around, absolutely none of that hope and optimism was present. So all we had to live off of was, this is Daniel Bryan saying goodbye. And we don't know, he doesn't even know, if he's ever going to be given the opportunity to compete in the ring again.
Yeah, it's something that every wrestler, it's like a road that every wrestler could potentially face, and it's the toughest one possible for anybody, or wrestler or athlete, or anybody who's in a difficult, physically inducing type of field like that. It's always like when your career could potentially be over because of injuries and things like that. it's just so, demoralizing. It's so like horrifying to you as an individual to sit there and say to yourself, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this anymore. And this has been your dream, your lifestyle, everything that you've done and fought for. And this guy has fought as hard as anybody because of the fact that, he's undersized, and it took him 10 years to get to WWE, and, he's been here for only 5 years, and, it's been a roller coaster ride. He went from just being one of those guys who was great technician, can wrestle really well in the ring, solid guy, whatever, to being this amazingly over, top level guy with such a great yes man gimmick, and again, he's just improved so much in terms of being able to get over with the fans, the casual fans, every type of fan. He
transformed into a superstar.
He really did, and it was so cool to watch it happen. And honestly, the Team Hell No, like, that was when it began. If you ask me, that was when he really started to transcend being not only so entertaining but funny and excellent in the ring. That was always there, but it was getting that character in the right spot, and they did that so well, and he has just been so enjoyable to watch with these last few years. It's been an amazing ride, and his journey into the title in 2014 was like one of the coolest things to watch. But to see him last May and then this May have to vacate titles and say that he's not sure if he's coming back is just some of the worst stuff you could imagine as a fan. And to put yourself in those shoes and think, man, what do you do with your future? Like, this is my life here. Like, I don't want to be in a wheelchair or not able to do anything regular. Like, if he wants to start a family and he does want to have a lot of things that he can do with his life in the future, then that could be potentially limited a lot if he continues to wrestle. So he has a lot of things to think about here, and obviously the doctor's prognosis can have a lot to do with what he ends up doing anyway. If they're going to recommend he doesn't wrestle, he might just say, okay, that's it. Again, he made this big comeback in only 4 months, and here we are. So, I mean, this could be something that really does end his career, and it's so sad to think about because he's honestly one of the most entertaining and best guys to watch today, and damn, he deserves so much better than this. He deserves so much better than this. It's freaking awful, but it also exposes just how real pro wrestling is, and how people can't, you call it fake, whatever, and it's like, this is why it's not fake. This is why you can't say that. This is why that argument gets killed, because it is so grueling on the body, and it's just proof that even a guy who has an amazing work rate, is one of the best in the ring that you can see, can just as easily be affected by these injuries. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's Superman. And, some of the best stars we've ever seen have had some of the worst injuries. Hulk Hogan, millions of back surgeries. Stone Cold broke his neck. A lot of the biggest names over the years, had their share of major injuries. And there you go. Daniel Bryan's right up there with them. And so, the guys who stay healthy, like the Chris Jerichos or CM Punk was pretty healthy. He had some injuries, but he was healthy, at times, but he still fought through some injuries, I should say. Some of these guys who fight through injuries, you just give them a ton of props because they go out there and they're hurting, but they still go out and fight, and that's something else. But some of these guys who have stayed healthy, it's just it's amazing that they're able to, because you say, man, all these other guys go down with at least an injury or two that keeps them out for a few months. So for anybody who actually is able to continue to go for a long run is just lucky, and it's a miraculous situation because it's such a dangerous game.
Yeah, sitting here as a Danny Bryan fan, loving what he does, getting some joy out of him fulfilling his dream, that it's been an amazing journey to be a part of, and I hope that this is not the end, but somebody who's enjoyed him, somebody who has gotten a lot of moments that I'll remember from Danny Bryan, and him being as awesome as he is, I just want whatever is the best for Danny Bryan. So if Danny Bryan has to go on and get another surgery, come back, do it. If Danny Bryan has to go to some alternate form of therapy, do it. If Danny Bryan has to hang up the boots and call it a career, do it. As long as you're happy and as long as you're healthy, me as a fan of yours, I couldn't ask for anything more than that. So I say best of luck to Danny Bryan and whatever stage occurs in his life next. And pretty much have to leave it at that. Anything else, Evan, before we head off air?
Nope.
But and I can say we'll see Danny Bryan on Tough Enough in about 6 weeks.
That's a good thing. I think that's cool. At least we'll have a way to see him, and hopefully we can at least get an update or something from him over the course of the next few months, because it's like, you really just you gotta get into like the person. It's not even just the wrestler anymore. It's like the person. You just wonder how's he doing. What's going on, and like I couldn't agree with you more though in terms of whatever is best for him as a person. That's what he should do. That's what everybody should do, because like we've said before, these guys are people like anybody else, and they got to do what's best for themselves. That's like, as fans, we cannot sit there and be like, oh, but you should go out there and wrestle. Like, what do you mean?
And I guess he'll still be on Total Divas too, so that's good too.
Well, there's always that.
Yeah. I have to catch up on a lot of those episodes though. I'm like at the first episode where Paige comes onto the show. And I think the next one is when Alicia Fox comes on, so I got a lot to catch up with. But thank you guys for tuning into this episode of PWF Empire Live. We will be back Sunday following Payback to give our Payback post-show review, and Charlie will be back on that show. And we have some news that we'll be delivering pretty soon. Some good news. I can't tie it to Charlie though, because I don't want people to think, oh yeah, he's staying now. No, he's still leaving. That'll be one of his last shows. But we have other good news about someone else who'll be on PWF Empire Live. But unfortunately, they won't be staying forever. But this will be like a guest little stint there. But keep an eye out for that. And I guess we'll see you guys on the flip side. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out.